the players are ready to start game 3. As a reminder, this is the best 3 out of 5 series. So this one could be the last one. Or if Laurie comes back, we could play a 4th or even a 5th game. So Austin's holding IIIT or LTTZ.
That's very funny. He just played that word last game. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, the patterns is what makes Scrabble. I love patterns.
We all like patterns if we're playing games like Scrabble and trying to identify, what the bingo is in Iraq, all those sorts of things. I think we're all team pattern here. So
okay, good.
Austin takes a 26-0 lead, and Laurie has a lot of clunky tiles right now. So she might. Could you imagine exchanging here, or would you try to play through this, Josh?
I can definitely imagine exchanging. It might even be even more than imagination. I might exchange pretty fast here. There's just too much on this rack. Really too much, I would say, unless I'm missing a play.
Yeah, I think I would probably exchange here too. Would you keep just the E? Would you keep ME? What would be your idea here?
I like ME, MA, MAE even are possibilities here. The M does a good job at eating those vowels. Lots of words with the M use multiple vowels, so it's not a huge deal to keep that M with two more vowels. Normally, you really want to keep more consonants than vowels if you're exchanging. But I might just do MAU for the extra chance at getting an early bingo. But she decides to just plop down that Q.
Yeah, it's not a terrible idea. I mean, if you don't think Austin's holding an S, this now isn't that great a scoring board. And when you have, she's basically slowing down the game here. And with a lot of high scoring tiles and not really great bingo tiles, slowing down the game could allow her to claw her way back in to the point where she gets rid of all of her bad tiles and then is holding bingo letters without being down 26 and instead being roughly tied. So I totally get the strategy, and we'll see if it works out.
Yeah, definitely not a bad play, QI. We'll see Austin play light here, which looks like his play for sure is 2 easy plays to start the game off for Austin. Light does a great job at scoring, getting rid of those duplicate letters that we keep mentioning. Just get rid of your duplicates. And it also sets up elite, which is maybe sometimes harder to see hook on the word light. However, there are many more hooks, and Laurie has at least 2 of them. Flight and elite. FLIT is also a word. So she'll be looking to use that double word score definitely in player F.
Yeah, will you play flight necessarily? I actually really like the idea of Mavie and elite. FY, it has some sneaky bingoing ability, it has some scoring ability. Whereas I dislike Fave, especially just because the I and the Y are kind of awkward together. So I would at a minimum like her to play 5 over Fave, but I think Mavie also looks like a really interesting option there.
MAVIE and elite, that's definitely a play to consider. You're setting yourself up maybe for next turn to score pretty nicely with your F and your Y. I honestly prefer this, but
Okay.
that is a definite counter idea. 5 over Fave because the A goes better with the Y, it goes better with the M. It does create 5 does create an R hook as well as an S hook, 5er and 5s, whereas Fave only creates the Faves hook. But that's kind of what Laurie wants here. She's really looking to bingo quickly and take the lead.
So Austin has now picked up the blank, and he is going to be looking for bingos. I see in the chat that it has been pointed out that telegin has recently been added as a word.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know that. So thank you to the chat for that suggestion. It's actually, does that even play anywhere? I'm not seeing a spot for it, but
No, it doesn't play. I don't think there's, yeah, as we can confirm with the engine, there are no playable bingos here. Austin's just gonna have to score a few points and hope for a bingo next turn. He doesn't really need to do much. He is slightly ahead, so he might consider just making a small play that doesn't open anything up, such as G. That's a, I mean, it does open a couple things up, but nothing major. So I like this idea here rather than taking more points for ogle or ogle, however you want to pronounce that word, and OE, which was the top choice recommended by the engine.
Yeah, and so we talked about last game about the word OG, or maybe it was 2 games ago, no, I forget. But G takes both an O and an A front hook. So even though Austin is setting up the O front hook, Laurie could cash in before with the A. Especially because meanie with a Y is a word, right? I always forget those IE versus Y words.
Yeah, it is. Okay. I was also worried that wasn't a word. Yeah, meanie is definitely a word, so she can do that this turn.
Or urn also could be an option. So one of those two could be coming down for Laurie.
Yeah, either of those I think is defensible. Urn has the added benefit of setting up that M for MY on that triple word lane, whereas meanie makes it a little bit easier for Austin to utilize that spot. But these are very small details, and I think they score the same amount. I'm really bad at math.
They're pretty close. Yeah, they score the same. Yeah, so I mean, one thing from Laurie's perspective here, as she plays meanie, is when Austin makes a play like G. So with meanie being played, Austin and Austin drawing the W and the K, I don't think he has any bingos here, but it looks like he's now going to be playing woke. To me, that looks like the right idea here. It just scores a lot and keeps the LT blank, which is a perfectly good leave getting towards bingos.
Yeah, so woke looks like a great play, for lack of a better option. It's also a very relevant word in today's day and age. Also, yeah, and now it's back to Laurie. The game is now pretty much tied. It's Laurie's turn. She's down a little bit, so it's pretty much a tie game. She would be looking here to have an open I on the board or an open O for recaning and cranoge, but unfortunately, you can't always get that letter you need for your 8-letter words, and she's going to have to settle for something such as maybe rang or something, rang and fiver. Not really
sure. Well, Laurie might be starting to think about what could Austin be holding. I think after G, you have to be suspecting bingo-y tiles. She has to be guessing he drew the W and K as the draw post G. So I could even see her doing something like can. Oh wait, no, Y isn't a word. Apologies.
Oh.
I did it again. So never mind. So I guess caner or something like that, though.
But yeah, that is a valid thought. Is like, oh, maybe it's time to slow things down a little bit. But I think since she is a little bit far behind, she might just want to focus on her own shtick for the moment. Interestingly, she holds an R for not only fiver but also for RAGEE, which is a hook on a G, which scores decently. It'll score something like 30 points if she's able to make a play there. It's not a huge option to consider, but those R's are going to come in handy. I think we might see a play with Raggy at some point.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thought. I didn't even think of that hook at the time that AG was played. So this is definitely not an easy position for Laurie. It's a position I would take a lot of time with for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe something like Gen, WE and ON under woke. That sort of goes with your idea of of maybe closing down that really easy spot for Austin to use, and just biding your time. It keeps a decent leave as well. CARN can really turn into some nice bingo tiles next turn. So yeah, I like that idea, and she's plopping it down. We'll see if she plays it.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I mean, we also didn't even talk about the awoke hook. So, so she could have made arc, I guess, is a possibility, but keeping two ends there is a bit clunky. So I think Jen is a nicer execution of this idea.
Reawoken is that a word? Yeah, that must be a word.
Reawoken should be a word, I think. Yeah, that would be a cool insertion play. Yeah, I don't know. Is that so? Quackle is suggesting just woken. Which is interesting.
Because you draw. I mean, you draw a bingo with I think many vowels.
Yeah. So with an I, you can have energic. For instance, with an O, you can have acrogen. So there definitely is that possibility on a lot of boards. Unfortunately, this board isn't that conducive to 7-letter words. I guess acrogen would play, but a lot of bingos wouldn't play there. So Laurie instead goes with the fiver hook, opens up the board a bit more. I think this is a perfectly fine idea here and totally within reason and justified.
Yeah, I like that play. Yeah, she could have also gotten Carnage, but I think after Woken that is, but I think you shouldn't be going for broke or for woke, and sorry, that was bad.
For Woken, yeah.
Okay, I think that's my last pun of the night. Sorry, Josh fans. So now it's back to Austin, who's drawn. Well, he has the blank. He's had the blank. Sorry, he's had the blank for a while. I'm very uneasy about the bad pun I just made. Please take it over, Morris.
Sure. So Austin does decide to exchange here. I'm actually slightly surprised he exchanged all of those consonants. I guess it would have been useful to see the bag at this point, because it looks like there have been a bit of a favor towards consonants so far this game. Slightly, right? Meanies played one more consonant. Rang played two more consonants. So when you're exchanging that many consonants, I would probably keep two with the blank. But yeah, I think exchanging there is perfectly within reason.
Yeah, definitely a good idea. And these are very, very small details that sometimes we're thinking about. Sometimes you just go with your gut. And everybody has a different gut. That's
So Austin is now putting down elicited, and that will be a nice score. Although Laurie has taken a bit of a lead because Austin exchanged in between. So Laurie's going to be right back in this, especially because she has Anforce now through the E in elicited that Austin just put down. So
nice find, Morris. I did not see that.
So it looks like Laurie will take the lead again shortly if she sees the bingo.
I think this is a very good Scrabble word to learn. There are all these roar swears, extors, inchors, anchors. There are probably more that I'm not even thinking of. Those come up pretty often. This isn't going to score that much. Elicited also didn't score that much, but a bingo is a bingo is a bingo, as we say. And we can see Austin again drawing those heavy scoring tiles. He's going to be able to come right back and retake the lead.
Yeah, and so this will definitely be because Laurie also drew tiles that have some synergy and scoring opportunities. So my guess is for the next few turns, we'll see the score rotate back and forth. Basically, Austin will slightly go up, Laurie will go up by a bit more. Austin will respond back, Laurie will respond back. And so at this point in the game, that's a great spot to be in from a viewer and commentator's perspective. Definitely a bit nerve-wracking from a player perspective, though.
What did I tell you about spoilers, Morris? Like, you shouldn't spoil the next few turns of the games. Anything can happen.
That's true. That's true. So Austin is looking like he is thinking about Joe keeping extra as a leaf. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. I mean, the J is kind of the clunkiest tile with all those others, and so it's a really high scoring option for him. He might be trying to think about, could he play the J and set up the X simultaneously? That would be a really cool idea. I'm trying to see if there's any plays like that right now. It's tough. Yeah, are you seeing anything, Josh, in that
Oh, that's what I'm
zone?
looking for. Where's Jackson Smiley when we need him, the setup king of this tournament? That would be really cool. Setup plays are just a really phenomenal display of Scrabble knowledge. What we're talking about when we're saying setups is creating a huge spot for a tile that you have on your rack, hoping that your opponent won't block that spot next turn. So I don't see really anything that Austin can do to do that, but that's definitely what you want to be looking for in these positions where it's a close game and you're trying to take a lead. Oh,
yeah, and he's playing a word that we've already seen once, so Josh will be happy.
Pattern recognition.
Yeah, so for team pattern recognition, we can make a hashtag out of that. Hashtag team pattern recognition.
Let's get some pattern hype in the chat.
Yeah, so with that, it's a nice scoring play, and I definitely think it's the right idea here to be scoring that. And he keeps his X, which is always a plus. So not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, I really like that play. It's, I think, better than JO, despite extra being a really nice leave, because JO does create a big spot for Laurie to come back. Ryoja takes away a big spot for Laurie, and with Austin's X, he's going to be able to score like 40 points next turn. If you drew even the U tile, which we were talking about, which there I think still all four of them unseen to both players. He would have had XU next to Rang for 52 points, that big X bomb that everybody fears or loves when they get it themselves. So Ryoja, again, very nice play.
Yeah, and Laurie actually would have had maybe down from Joe if Austin decided to go with Joe. So we can even see in practice kind of the value of playing this play that takes away a spot instead of opens up another spot. But it looks like she was scanning her cursor at the spot right below Meanie. Maybe she's trying to find a word there. It's close to a lot of things. What are you looking? Is she considering Mange? Or no, wait, that isn't the word. What am I? It's what's she thinking there?
I don't know what Laurie's thinking. I just saw in the chat someone mentioned that she's close to job names, which is very funny. Very good memory of her high score of 230 points in her I think 700 plus point game in a tournament. So maybe she wants to play off her L and her Y and go for that. Instead, she's looking at Lomi. Good play, scores a lot of points. Yeah, there's tons of options here. I mean, she has a very balanced rack. She can play 2 vowels, 3 consonants, 1 vowel, 2 consonants. She probably wants to play the Y. Many close options here. I think that's a very defensible play.
Yeah, and it blocks one of Austin's best X spots, if not his actual best X spot. So it could be a key decisive move. Yeah, you're saying detox is a possibility there. Yeah, that's that can hurt definitely after a play like Lomi.
Yeah, maybe we're gonna see Austin go on a diet after this one.
Yeah.
But that's you're always looking for those spots with your X on open boards such as these. Those spots are usually somewhere. Just look at those triples, those doubles, and try to see what you can do. Detox, great play, 58 points. Austin pulls ahead by 31, and Laurie, as we were saying, draws 2 of those 4 U's. Austin drew 1 himself, and as prescient as I am, that's a very unfortunate draw if you're Laurie.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough because a lot of the highest scoring plays, like BAP, right above Detox, keep UUV. So this looks like a better idea, playing Gov, getting rid of 2 of those 3 letters you essentially want to get rid of very soon. Laurie's only down by 18, so she doesn't need to go broke for bingo, but she definitely can't be slowed down by those tiles so much.
Absolutely. And Austin drawing, you already had the F and the H. The F and the W. He's really going to be able to score many points over 2 or 3 turns here. He probably wants to ideally get rid of his U. That's why we saw him put down HUE there. But that is the better spot that he's putting his tiles in. But what a great suggestion of woeful in that spot that you had FAW, WOFUL. Incredible find there. It's very hard to see that word. That's definitely the right play. We'll see if Austin takes the time and manages to see that Wharf. Also a phenomenal score of 42 points. But yeah, woeful for sure is the play here.
Yeah, although if he plays Wharf, he's in pretty good position too. Woeful, it's not always easy to look for that sort of thing. Seeing a 5-letter word ending in UL, it's not super common, but he's playing it now. Wow. What a great find.
Not yet.
Okay, you think he's going for WAF?
Okay. There you go. I was worried there that he wasn't going to see that U there, but that's by far the best play. That might be even a game-winning play. No spoilers. We don't know. Laurie obviously is still struggling here. There's still a lot of game to be played. She's going to be looking to get rid of her junk and get a bingo very soon here, because now she's down by 65 points.
Yeah, so with Austin's last few plays scoring so much, he does take the lead. And so Laurie needs to start thinking about what is her strategy. How does she have to map out the next few turns to really give her best shot of winning? It looks like she might be playing down her B on the 3rd column, potentially. She's hovering with it right now. Maybe she wants to try to open up the 2nd column. The board, we will see.
Yeah, she might want to do something like ebb on the top row there as she's putting the tiles down. Don't worry, there's no like delay. Like I didn't see her put those tiles down before you guys.
Yeah.
Obviously that's a nice score, but the leave is just not very palatable. So we'll see if she takes that back and tries to find something better for her own rack. I'm not seeing that.
It's tough, and Austin is going to be able to also play underneath Woeful next turn. He did keep AH last turn, which plays directly underneath, making Oda and Fe, which is a Hebrew letter. And so it could be, and he also picked up a P though, which makes it even more strong, making PAH. So it looks like he's probably going to go there next turn. And so Laurie just really needs everything to go right from here on out. She's looking like she's going to go with a more bingo-friendly leave, playing Poor. But
I like that idea.
It does keep Ebb for next turn, I guess. But with Austin,
board.
That's true. But Austin wastes no time to play Pa, keeping AIST, and that gives him a really commanding lead.
Yeah, that's a lot of points there. Was it 38? He's really building up a very very healthy lead. Laurie did draw decently here. Nowhere for Dabbier, if we can see some dabs in the chat. Mostly by Josh Greenway, I would presume.
Yeah, it's not an easy position. My guess is she'll spend a lot of time on this turn just because she needs to start thinking about how can I win this game. Although she plays Ebb pretty fast, She's looking at the pool, seeing how many E's there are. If I had to guess, we saw from her perspective there are 2 left. We see that one of those is on Austin's rack. So the E is such a key tile for bingoing, especially if you want to use the P or the V on and go all the way down to the triple. That's often a really necessary tile. So she didn't pick up the E this time, which doesn't help her, but she might just think I need to just score the points after a play like that.
She's done a fantastic job of keeping the board alive. Her play of gov, her play of poor, really separating the space on the board, so that later on she can have playable bingos. Austin is really on easy street, as we say here, with his tiles. He's just looking to score well and defend. And shout is not a play suggested because it gets rid of the S, which is a very valuable tile. But as you can see in the bottom there, HAUTE, haute, like haute cuisine is an option that scores a bit less, but maintains keeps that S on Austin's rack, which it's not necessarily the best board for an S, but the S is always a really good tile you can use for scoring, for blocking, and for bingoing.
Yeah, what are your thoughts there, Josh? I actually kind of liked his first play of Ho. I think AEIST is just so powerful, especially with basically any constant in the bag here. If you draw, you're in pretty good shape.
Definitely.
What are you thinking?
In these contexts, I mean, he is a really good rack. He's ahead by 50 points as his turn. Plays like Ho are very good. He can just draw anything next turn and the game will be over. But when he doesn't, that's what he has to be thinking of. How do I lose this game? I might lose this game by taking a few less points, and she bingos and I don't draw anything, and I only have 1 point tiles. So I'm actually really liking the idea of haute or shout here, to score a bit more, block a bit more. But he goes for it, and we'll see what happens. What does he draw? UT. That might be good enough. Situate is on that rack, but I don't see anything else.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything right away. But if you're Laurie here, you have to be a bit nervous after a play like Ho, just because you're looking at the bag. You might be thinking Austin could have. If you're looking at Quackle, excuse me, you can see that the blank is still out. You can see 2 S's out.
Come on, Morris. You know you want to say it.
And
what's the top suggested play here?
Yeah, okay, Josh. Rioja could come down again.
That's amazing. It's probably not a good play. Air is a great play, I'd say. Keeps everything open. She draws. Oh, okay, so she draws that's
overlaid,
good.
And she draws. Wow, I'm rusty. I forget if there's any bingos through the P there. But overlaid could come down. That might not be enough. But Austin's going to. Oh, is he trying
or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overlaid is very unlikely to be blocked, so this is really a good chance for Laurie to maybe jump back into it. However, it's not a great bingo. It scores in the 60s. As we can see, Austin is ahead by more than 60, 71 to be precise. And he might actually find this play that's being suggested of Juddy's. Does that take a? No, it doesn't take a T. Juddy's does not work. So Juddy's for 32 points from the J and Rioja will shut down that V and will score as much as Austin can hope to score without emptying the bag. And look, he's seeing it, and that's going to be disastrous for Laurie if he makes that play. It blocks overlaid. It scores too many points, and if he presses enter, this might be it.
Yeah, wow, that's That's a huge game swinger. Yeah, Juddy's is basically the only play there that can block uh, overlaid. I guess you could make a play with sends, but very few plays even could come close to blocking overlaid. And Austin happened to have the one that does. So I think there are 2 tiles left in the bag now for Laurie. Let's try to figure out what she could even do as a strategy here. So we see that Quackle suggesting getting rid of things like the O just because relayed is such a great leave. We need to be thinking bigger here. She needs to have a high enough point bingo as an option that Austin can't automatically know to block.
Definitely.
So,
yeah, what she's looking for here is a bingo in 2 spots that's going to score enough points. It's pretty hard to imagine that's even possible here, but when you're in Laurie's position, you have to just exhaustively go through anything you can do. She might want to play 2 tiles and give Austin full information, so long as she draws that bingo in 2 spots. Thinking something maybe from the P and from the A and to the A in Rioja. So from the P in Poor and to the A. So she's probably looking at maybe drawing the blank. It's really a matter of really looking at the possibilities of what she can do, scoring as much as possible this turn, and hoping that her bingo next turn will be enough to win.
yeah, it's tough. I mean, what words even go to the end? Right, ending in A. What 8-letter words does she even have in that sort of realm of possibilities here with the bag unseen to her?
And you're putting me on the spot.
I'm
I
not
think
seeing anything. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's really a matter of drawing the blank. I don't see anything without drawing the blank. But I think she needs to draw maybe C blank, and maybe get like alopecia or something. Or would that work?
yeah, that would work if she plays off RD. Yeah, that's a good idea. Um, yeah, I think Austin picked up the C, but the blank is still in the bag. So Laurie actually really could, if she does find the right sequence. We're not seeing it right now, but if she does find it, it could be in the cards for her to actually draw and come into fruition. So
We see a suggestion by Rafi, another top player, of just playing Woker and RE. Woker being a newly added word to the dictionary, and going for the word palinode from the P in poor, and hoping that Austin somehow doesn't manage to pull the win off. Maybe doesn't block palinode, doesn't score that many points, and maybe that's her best chance here. But
yeah,
it's really looking dire.
yeah, that's interesting. I feel like Austin's going to go in that area almost automatically next turn. I feel like the move has to be you have to try to think about a bingo ending to the A because he's almost never going to block that here. Um, I guess if you're only playing 1 tile off, if you're playing 2 tiles off, yeah, you need to find something that fits in multiple spots. But if you're only playing 1 off and not emptying the bag, that would be the strategy. But I'm just not seeing anything right away that can even do that with just 1 tile.
Yeah, there's a suggestion of playing off the O, going for Praedial, Praedial. That's another option, and it looks like she's thinking of that. But once again, I mean, Austin would have to just score almost no points here, and she doesn't draw into Praedial. Padlier is a thing, but that's definitely not a word. Yeah, so it looks like that's it, I think. Even if Laurie does have something that I don't see, it's just not going to score enough. Um, and Austin can basically just do anything. The very interesting thing about this position is that from Austin's perspective, she must have the blank, but she doesn't. And from Laurie's perspective, he must have the blank, but he doesn't. The blank has been left in the bag as the last tile, which is just really really bizarre when that happens. I know whenever I'm playing a game and the last tile is a blank, I'm just like, what is going on? I get a little jerk. I'm like, whoa, I guess that was possible.
Yeah, especially because the blank, people think that not only because everyone's thinking about the blank, it's the most important tile in the game, but people hoard it for multiple turns if it's not worthwhile. So when you see plays like PO, Gov, even potentially a bit earlier, he might be thinking, okay, she's really trying to just groom her rack towards something. And
Yeah,
he
and
must.
Austin here is just like, okay, I mean, she's going to bingo. I can't prevent it. I'm just going to score as many points as possible. Case does that. It's by far the highest scoring play on the board. And he's going to be ahead 120 points, 119 points. And that's going to be way too much.
Yeah, so it looks like Austin will get a sweep this round. And with a 420 to 299 lead now. And he picks up the blank.
Which is just, if Laurie knew, she would be like, oh, are you kidding me? But yeah, this was an incredible sweep by Austin. Very well played by Laurie. Yeah, very, very nice plays on both ends. And Laurie was always seeming to play from behind in this last game, and she just wasn't able to come up with it.
Yeah, just the tiles were just a few tiles away sometimes, and like even when she got something overlaid, Austin just had the perfect blocking play right before. I've definitely been there in tournaments. It's always a bit frustrating when that happens, but we even saw from the start of the first game, she saw landward right away. She really showed kind of her just bingo prowess and just ability to find big plays.
Absolutely. Yeah, beautiful play landward. Like she saw it almost instantly.
While we are waiting for the players to finish up, just a reminder to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are the North American Scrabble Players Association. If you want to learn how to play in tournaments, go to scrabble.zone/info. Who knows, maybe you're going to be the one playing Antforce in your next game. Also, a reminder to put your phone up to scan the QR code at the bottom right of your screen to download Scrabble GO. If you want to play Scrabble on your phone, that is the app for you. Finally, we are playing for two charities this tournament. The Dolly Parton Imagination Library, which donates books to kids prior to attending school, no matter what level of income, all throughout the U.S., and the North American Scrabble Players Association Foundation for Youth Literacy, which helps bring word games, strategy, teamwork, all that sort of stuff to kids through word game play.
And just Austin is just finding a word he wants to play here. Penang is, you see that green, that means that's a valid word, and that'll be the end of the game and the end of the match. Congratulations to Austin. And commiserations to Laurie. Very well played on both sides.
So Austin, you will see him again on Saturday in our second semifinal matchup. We have finished all 4 quarterfinal matches, and we are really excited to, these next 2 days, bring our 2 semifinal matches.